Welcome to Voice Rising with Kara Johnstad. Enjoy weekly conversations with leading luminaries, pioneering visionaries, singers, poets, musicians, and sound healers as we explore the profound role our voice plays on the path to self-realization and global enlightenment. The internationally acclaimed singer, composer, author, healer, recording artist, voice expert, creator of Voice Your Essence, and founder of the School of Voice, Kara Johnstad uses her extraordinary spiritual gifts to empower others. Everything in this world vibrates. Everything has a frequency. A pioneer in the field of voice work and transformational songwriting. Her breakthrough methods are helping thousands of people worldwide fine-tune their body-mind-spirit system and unlock the energetic frequencies of limitless creativity, health, and abundance. Share your voice, ask your questions, join in the conversation. Receive life-changing, positive transformation and rise together to create a sound world. And here's your host, Kara Johnstad.
Hey everybody, welcome to Voice Rising, and today it is all about the power of voice and what role our voice plays in shifting old paradigms and awakening to a vibrant life of pure presence. And there is no one better to explore with us these bigger questions of meaning than the internationally renowned vocalist, actor, composer, and educator, Cleveland Watkiss. Described as a restlessly curious musician, it's hard to know where to place him. He sung with some big names who The Who, Nigel Kennedy, Robbie Williams, Joe Cocker, Bradford Marsalis, Courtney Pine, Cassandra Wilson, Bjork, Pete Townsend, and these are only a few names. But most of all, and most importantly, he is a solo artist and also is a mover and shaker, I would say, a man with incredible presence. He's worked with DJs, Indian percussionists, Japanese musicians, and all of these life experiences have enriched his voice. He is the winner of the London Jazz Awards for Best Vocalist, was voted Best Vocalist of the Year, I believe, by Wire Guardian Jazz Awards, and in 2017, Cleveland Watkiss received the Parliamentary Jazz Award for Best Jazz Vocalist of the Year. Gosh, that was a long introduction, and you guys, I only gave about one paragraph of the 5,000 pages that I had in front of me, so welcome to the show, Cleveland.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm honored to have you.
Here I am.
Yeah, there you are. Very cool. So in these past weeks, I knew your name many, many years ago. Actually, I was first introduced to your work through the Jazz Network Worldwide, through J.J. Jackson. But I really had the opportunity in these, shout out to J.J. In these last weeks, I've been listening to your music, and I'm touched, I guess, by your passion that you have to awaken humanity and to empower others through that truth-telling spirit that you have. You're incredibly present when you sing, and you are very bold in just having your own signature sound. And I want to start our conversation in the homelands of your childhood. I understand that you're born in Hackney, East London, to a Jamaican family, and I was just wondering if you could give us some glimpses or some colors of your musical background, or if music and voice and storytelling was already there in the roots of your childhood, or if you had to go chase it down later in life.
Well, my parents came over to England during the Windrush era, during the early 50s to mid 50s. To England, and we were based and have been based in East London, Hackney, for most of my life. And my parents weren't necessarily musicians. I mean, my father loved jazz, and I always remember my mum singing and dancing around the house, so that was quite infectious as a kid, seeing that. But most importantly, I think, like, the radio was the thing for me. You know, I always remember just sitting in my there were cartoons, the radio's playing, and I'm just hearing all kinds of things, and just really soaking it all up as a kid, just listening to these sounds emanating from the radio, and just that really, I guess, really informed my my love and passion for sound and music and just voices, and just that. I guess that would be really the thing that really sparked and ignited my curiosity about the voice, the sound of the voice and instruments, just sound in general.
Yeah, sound, beat, melody.
Yeah.
And was there? I mean, there's so many people. They're really longing to have a profession or work that, makes their soul sing, so to say, and you found it, and you're walking the talk, and you're doing it.
Well,
was there a turning point in your life where you said, I'm going to be bold and just live the path as an artist?
It's that cliche. I mean, I think it's that cliche saying, it really found me, because up until a certain point, I just assumed that this is what everyone does,
Right.
Everyone does this, everyone listens to music and, is engaged in sound in that way. And it was only when I got into maybe my early teens that I realized that, hold on a second, maybe, no, not everybody's kind of like this, and I think that you just realize that this is, I've just always known that I wanted to do this. I've just always known that this is the thing. I think maybe when I got into my maybe around 1920, the age of 1920, not the year 1920. But,
you ancient one, you wise one.
Yeah, the age of 1920. I said, yeah, no, this is what I'm going to do, and then I just made an effort to really learn as much as I could about this instrument, and I found a vocal coach. Just randomly, I picked up a newspaper and found a teacher that was teaching opera and sort of classical production of the voice. I didn't necessarily go there for that. I mean, I discovered that that's what they were teaching, but then I just pursued it. I just said, okay, well, let me, because he had a book as well. The teacher's name is Arnold Rose, renowned opera singer from England.
Okay.
And he had a really interesting book, The Singer and the Voice, which was an extremely technical book, way too advanced for my brain at the time. But I persevered with it and read it and studied it and tried to apply some of the stuff in there. And I read it for a long time, and read it for many years, and just started to understand technically how the voice works, how sound is produced, and how learning about resonance, and just how the vocal cords vibrate, sound emanates, and all this kind of stuff. But I never pursued a career in opera, so I had this understanding and this knowledge, but it wasn't until many years later that a good friend of mine, the composer, UK pianist, jazz pianist and composer, Julian Joseph, wrote a couple of jazz operas that required me to utilize that type of technique. So it was many years later that I was able to draw on this information and knowledge that I had, but I never used. Which
was there a
reason?
Yeah, was there a reason with the? Was it your curiosity as a vocal explorer that led you more into jazz? Was there a reason that you didn't pursue the classical vibe?
I think it's maybe just a power association. There wasn't anyone I was around at the time that was necessarily pursuing that world, so I didn't. There wasn't that type of influence. I guess,
Right.
I guess that's the way to break that down. But it wasn't until I heard, what did I hear in terms of the voice? Well, I mean, I'd heard some of the classic jazz singers, people like Ella Fitzgerald and Tony Bennett, and some of the sort of bebop scat singers. But then I heard Bobby McFerrin one day, and I heard him singing in concert by himself, making all these sounds, and I could hear everything. I was like, oh my God, he's just doing this by himself, and I can hear all the parts. I can hear the drums, I can hear the beat, I can hear the harmonies, I can hear, there's interaction. So that was the kind of turning point, really, in sense of me really wanting to explore this idea of improvisation. Because I remember after one of his concerts, Bobby's early concerts here in London, I spoke to him, and I asked him about one of the pieces. I said, like, that composition. He said, oh, no, I just made that up. I was just blown away. I was like, you made that up? I mean, it just sounded so complete as a piece of music. And I was just really blown away with the idea of that we can actually create songs, complete structures of music in the moment. And then, I mean, I just, as time went on and I started to understand and realize that, well, as children, we have this ability, and we explore this ability to, as explorers, because we're learning about ourselves, and we're learning about sound. We learn mama, dada, these sounds,
Right,
and we
right.
start to, then we're off, we're just exploring all these sounds and all these things. And then I discovered that, sadly, that idea of exploration, for a lot of people, stops when they start to study music.
Right.
A lot of people forget about this idea of being spontaneous and being creative in the moment, as we are as children, because we're all like that as children. Every child I've ever come in contact with has this notion and ability to improvise and create things in a moment. But we start to study the structures of music, which is great. That is all good and important through your development as a musician. But improvisation is important as well. And I realized that we don't get taught, we don't get encouraged in that way.
Well, I always feel that as children, we are improvisers, and we're also great storytellers. So we're able to play with sound and tell stories way before we can read and write. But when we go into musical training, often the reading is placed way before we can compose. So what I try to do at the School of Voice that I created is to take the same way that we learn to tell stories and sing, and to do composition in the same way, to say, okay, here are different tones, and now let's play with this. And, so that they have the feeling that they can be telling a story through music themselves. And then at some point, of course, they're going to desire to understand other composers or other structures or other, they're going to be bored with their 4-chord progression or whatever, and they're going to be like, oh, show me more, show me more, show me more. And at some point they're going to be like, I want to read the chord charts or the lead sheets from let's say Stevie Wonder, or I want to read the the song from Adele or whatever. And then to be able to bridge that, they're going to have to be able to start reading. But they're not reading before they can touch the keys, before they and that's what I've seen the most, is the sensuality the kids, they lose sometimes their curiosity, their exploration. They're only hanging out by the little sea. You know, they're not playing with rhythm anymore, because when they went towards that piano, somebody said, "Stop pounding on the keys," right? And actually, it's normal to want to be like a drum when you just are making sounds, and you don't
piano
yet
is
have those. Yeah, piano is a drum, right? So I do think that's a very important aspect as educators also, that we try to understand, and also as vocalists, why do we all come with a very big, powerful instrument, all of us, and the fear of singing and stage fright and all of these things is one of the biggest fears, you know, up there with the fear of death. I mean, that's how paralyzed people have become to share their true authentic voice and their true gifts. And it's profound, and I hope that, you know, you and I and other musicians can start changing this and keep the kids from a very early age on with that exploration, and then of course add the cultural benefit of learning, you know, perhaps, you know, Beethoven or Herbie Hancock or whoever it is, but to first of all find their own sound, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So well, that's a little bit, we're touching on vocal improvisation already. The more you practice, I'm sure the more that song starts moving through you, if you're starting to practice and being that power of one moment. Oh, we're going to take a station break. We are going to, let me keep that thought. We're going to take a station break, and we'll be back with Cleveland Watkiss.
We'll be back.
The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM-FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hello, I'm Lisa Berry. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for Light on Living, a chance to see new, hear different, and feel more as I shine the spotlight on all the ways to lighten the load of life's challenges. Light on Living is your link to that new way you're looking for, that new understanding that will enhance your life, and that positive connection that will support your growth. So join me, and you'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you.
With happy clients all over the world, Cara Johnstad knows that your voice is the missing link to more authenticity, abundance, creativity, and health. An internationally acclaimed voice expert, Cara's breakthrough methods have helped thousands of people successfully heal their voice wounds and extinguish the story of self-doubt and shyness forever. Join in group trainings, attend online sessions, schedule one-on-one time, and invite Cara to work with your organization and community. Get started today. Go to www.carajohnstad.com and receive a special guided meditation designed to fine-tune your inner voice and welcome you on the voice journey.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off at school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Voice Rising, and I am Cara Johnstad in studio today with Cleveland Watkiss, amazing vocalist, educator, activist, actor, and many more good things. And we just left off with vocal improvisation, and I would like to then now dive into word sound and collective power. And I'd like to deepen this conversation because I know that you also are not only a soloist, but you're very big on the collective and working together also in collaborations. And so an acupuncturist is able to read the pulse, an iridologist can read the eyes. In Biosonics, we know that we can read the human voice and use it to diagnose if something is not in balance. Do you believe, Cleveland, that the frequencies of the human voice that we carry within us can give us information about our own personal physical and emotional balance?
Absolutely. Science and biology teaches us that everything is vibrating.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is frequency. And everyone is everything and everyone is vibrating at different frequencies, which makes us who we are. Which defines a cup from a fork. They're vibrating at different frequencies. They're all made of the same substance, but they're vibrating at different frequencies, which is what makes them the objects that they are. That's
Right.
my understanding of it. So I think through the power of music and vibrations, we were able to create. Actually, before that, I believe that music initially its original purpose was to uplift the spirit, the soul of the man and woman, and again, I think through intent, we're able to find the frequencies that are able to heal and become more of we would say a positive kind of force in the universe. At the same token, we can create a negative energy that can become a destructive thing for as we see those two types of energies in the universe. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
It's all right. We're exploring this, right? We are exploring this, and we know that. I mean, we do know that when we're singers, as singers, we know that we can tune our bodies, our instrument. We're building our instrument, and the amazing thing is, I think that many people that might not be working so closely with the voice, they may be unaware that they're constantly not only tuning their own instrument through the frequencies of their voice or through their environment, but they're being tuned by media. They're being tuned through the books they read. They're being tuned through the conversations they have, right?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
So we have this ability not only to tune ourselves, but we have the ability also to collectively tune. And we have the ability also to be tuned. And so this consciousness is so profound. And we can really, the collective benefits from, as a society, if we're all kind of tuning ourselves to what you were saying before, through intent, maybe through affirmations, to just become more aware and more conscious. And so I want to ask you, because I actually, I come from Minnesota and I've been living in Europe, and you come from Jamaica and you've been living in England. But I was diving a little bit deeper.
I was born in England. Yeah.
You were born in England. Okay. You were born in
my
England.
Parents from Jamaica, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, from heritage, right? But with understanding this ability to collectively tune, can you share with us a little bit more about the sound system culture, which is actually originating from Jamaica, and how that has to do with collective tuning?
Wow. Okay, so sound system culture is a movement that started in Jamaica where when the musicians would take a break from playing, they would get the DJs to play.
Mm-hmm.
And the DJs at the time in Jamaica were building their own sound system, i.e. their own speakers, their own speaker boxes, their own amplifiers, etc. And to cut a long story short, what happened was that the people started to get into the DJ a bit more than even the live musicians. So the DJs kind of took over in essence in terms of popularity in Jamaica. So it became a sort of a national kind of hobby, if you like, or thing for the youngsters to build their own sort of DJ stools, etc. So this culture spread as the people moved. So I got introduced to it in England through this idea of making your own sound system.
Mm-hmm.
And the records, which essentially, because of the nature of the culture, are bass heavy. So,
right.
we call it dub,
right.
Dub music, which is just really heavy bass sounds. And what I found when I started to build my own sound system when I was a teenager and really getting into this music was that the low end frequency was doing something really extraordinary. I mean, I found that I could actually put my ear like right next to the cone,
mm-hmm.
even though the speaker was really loud. But it felt more inviting. It didn't feel harsh or just kind of shocking to the ear. It was like a really soothing sound when I would put my ear to the speaker. And maybe that's to do with the fact that it was a different form of equipment that was being used at the time, because they were using more valve instrumentation, electronics. So which produces a whole different type of sound.
Right.
So I just found that there was something really well, I couldn't even put my finger on it at the time, but there was just something really, really almost magnetic about listening to the low frequencies in this music.
But wasn't there also this vision of the collective, of uniting, of tuning, and giving voice actually to many people that might not have had a voice? So, I mean, it wasn't only beats going through the speakers. There were words, there were messages, there were poets that were giving voice to the voiceless, and there were, as far as I know, songs that had a political, social, and spiritual notion. So this was pretty pivotal, and it carried really. It was a wave around the world. It was really a wave that people really soaked in, like you said, and absorbed not only the beats but the messages that were going out through these boxes that were really, uniting whole neighborhoods to come together collectively.
Yes, that's right, because there was yes, the language, the rhetoric, the poetry, the songwriting, the words were pretty much about what was going on in the environment at the time or around the world. You know, you've got people that will know Bob Marley and the Wailers music, but maybe, and some of the not so well-known people like Burning Spear, Peter Tosh, all these amazing artists and singers that were being very political and being a sound and a voice to the voiceless through the sound system culture and through which spread around the world, you know, which created the movement that we know today as hip hop. You know, that's all coming out of the sound system culture.
Right, exactly.
So again, you know, I think the power and the force of sound and nature and cultures colliding through this music that spread all around the world, you know, from Jamaica through to America, England, Europe, South America, Brazil, you know, everywhere, and it still does today. And that sound and that movement is probably more important today than it's ever been, because you've got the younger generation that are totally tuning into that whole culture and idea, and they want it. You know, they want the vinyl. They want that. They want to understand where it all comes from. They want to understand the history of that movement. So it's a really interesting time with that we're in now, because it's all almost come full circle again. You know, it's all and again, I mean, you know, just taking it on a philosophical edge, that it's vibration, and again, vibration doesn't dissipate. It's always there. It moves.
Right.
It doesn't die.
Right.
It's you know, the vibration that Marley and people like that were vibrating at that time is still there.
Yeah, that's the profound thing that I'm always saying to people. That is my theory, Cleveland, of why the universe keeps on expanding. Is because the voices, they never leave us. We're in the car with Bob Marley. We're in the car with Nina Simone. We're in the car with Ella Fitzgerald. We're in the car with Michael Jackson. We're in the car with Elvis Presley. We keep on, you know, half of all the radio waves, they keep on playing what are the voices of people that have passed. And yet they keep on vibrating. They keep on giving us energy. They keep on feeding our systems. It's a profound thought that nobody wants to talk about death and dying, and yet we continue to be thirsty for and need the frequencies and the vibrations of so many great artists and great voices that have walked the earth, right?
I'm going to say something that might be a bit controversial, but it's just where I am with it, that I just don't believe that we actually die. I believe that we just transform. We move. Energy doesn't die. We don't know where it comes. We don't know where it goes. It just moves. Everything is moving. So after a certain period of time, we transform. We move. We move into another space and dimension and time. So I don't. As much as I understand that, you know, as human beings, we die in inverted commas, and we mourn, you know, the sort of physicalness of a loved one, a person, but it's still out there, it's still there.
But it does,
you know,
seem
and depending
like,
on what kind of vibration they created as well, you know, if they create
that's the thing.
vibration.
It does seem, though, like that voice frequency, whether it's a person's handwriting in the letters that they sent you or the album recordings, it does seem like the voice has that ability to become or to remain immortal, right? And whereas maybe their sofa is at some point on the street, but the albums and the songs and the melodies and the rhythms, if we do say da 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 da, I mean, we know what song that is, or ba ba dee da dee da da da. We know what song it is, right? Just the first glimpse, and it is pretty mind-blowing. I mean, going back to the collective, I know that as an artist, and I'm also a professional artist, that you've had to make those choices, whether you go into auditions and do some kind of a role, or whether you consciously choose your roles or choose what kind of music you're going to be putting out into the world. Do you think that as artists we have also a responsibility to be of service to fine-tune the collective human organism? Is it a... Do we have that choice that we can make if we really think about it, that we can be of service in that way?
Yeah, but then you have to be enlightened in that way. You have to have that sort of you have to have that kind of desire within, and sometimes exposure as well. Just being around the right type of energy. To
be able to make that choice.
To make those type of choices. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's there is a responsibility on the individual to find the right frequency for themselves that is able, and we're able to put an energy out there that is of healing type of, or some kind of message that can transform another person for good. Yeah. So.
Beautiful. Hold that thought, Cleveland, to put an energy out there of healing, to transform. Small station break. We're going to be back in 2 minutes.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. ascendinghearts.com.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Hi, everybody. This is Cara Johnstad, and we're back in studio with Cleveland Watkiss, talking about the power of voice and the collective consciousness and the beauty of sound. And Cleveland, singing is our relationship between skin and bone, wind and tone, and it whispers to all those lost parts of our body and asks them to come back and become whole again. How can we unearth our true voice that connects us to our past and to our many selves, our many voices that are living within our body?
Wow.
Wow.
Well, there's a before the break, we were touching on melodies.
Yeah.
When you were talking about or ba 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 ba, and how we can identify the music, the person, just through those few notes. So there's something about the power of melodies that what do I want to say? There's something that's really just the power of the how we organize these sounds, put them in succession of one another. That's able to, I guess what I'm saying, what I'm really getting at is like, are they the building blocks of how flesh and bone come together? The sound.
Are they the building blocks?
Yeah,
the rhythms and melodies.
Are they, the,
of skin and bone.
There was a big explosion, so and that sound, because with an explosion comes a sound, and comes a melody, it comes a frequency.
Right.
So
and we say that of sound mind and sound body, right? Making sound decisions. We have the at least the unconscious, sense, but for many people, the conscious sense that if we're doing something that has integrity, that's whole, it means it's sound. I'm going to make a sound choice. So we know that we're built up of sound. But again, many of us, maybe, this show is all about actually inviting guests in to enlighten us all to really explore the power of sound, and that actually that's our nature. That's where we all live. And the more we become conscious to play with it, to realize that a word can change the direction of a whole entire conversation, or a melody sung out of tune can basically also create dissonance in a room. Right? And you can bring a room together, or you can split people apart through sound, through word, through melody, through choices that we have in sound. It's a very cool playground that we're able to play in, you and I. And actually everybody has that opportunity, because the voice dwells within every single body.
Yes, and I think also that there's a really thin line between the words, or the words that we say, and its melodic inflection, i.e., the words that we say has the melodic inflection. They are there when we speak it. So there's just the association of the word, that power in the melody's always there. It's always, the melody's always there. The melody's always there.
The melody and the rhythms, right? You've been. I saw that you said somewhere also that you believe that the voice comes through your feet, starts in your feet.
Yes.
So is it the rhythm? Is it the earth? Is it the energy that we're pulling up? Is it the?
It's all of that.
Is it the walking?
We're connected to. Think of it. I think of it like maybe the. When we got our feet on the ground, that's the charger, That's we're charging through the earth.
Right.
Everything is coming up. And again, it starts with the bass, it starts with the bottom. It starts down there. So it starts
really
with the
down
feet,
there.
Down there. And it comes all the way. It starts way down there. And then it comes up, all the way up, So it's all the frequencies are there. All the frequencies we can access all the frequencies. We can access all the frequencies, but what do we want to create?
Is that why finding our own? Yeah, is that why finding our own true authentic voice is so important? Because we can access all the frequencies, and if we don't dare to sing, that we don't touch on many parts of our being and our memory and our emotional states, and that gets awakened or shaken up if we actually take it to the next level. Speaking is the one. Journaling is good, speaking is great, but when we start to really sing, we are touching on frequency levels, which brings a kind of excitement in the air, right? Is that why each and every one of us should take the big jump and explore finding our true authentic voice? I mean, you're an educator, Cleveland. You're an educator, so why should people take the jump? Why? What's exciting?
Because the fact of the matter is that we all are born with a unique sound force and expression.
Mm-hmm.
We're born with we come into this world with it, and but we don't explore it because of whatever reason. We don't find it. We don't tune it. We have it, but we don't.
Right.
Some of us don't recognize it, and then some of us do recognize it, and then we kind of exploit it and do all kind of crazy stuff with it, I'm thinking now of people like Amy Winehouse, they had an incredible, amazing instrument, but through the environment and through certain energies, that we kind of, that left us a little too early, in essence. But but we all have this sound force, all of us, to some degree.
This is the other question. I wasn't going to go there today, but now I will go there. If you think of some great artists that have left us too early, such as Amy Winehouse, do you think it's also because we as a collective want to or choose to put people sometimes on pedestals, and then you have a whole industry that goes around it? And if each of us could, really honor, okay, we have these amazing singers. I mean, it is great to watch a beautiful singer, but it's like you can watch a dancer or you can go out and dance yourself, the salsa or the tango or move in your kitchen. If we are paralyzed with our own instruments and we put so much hope and projection and longing on these one single artists or human beings, that's an amazing amount of pressure they carry for us to feel. And maybe if we were taking that responsibility and feeling ourselves, that the industry would not be so, we know in the business the industry is not always easy. So the artists would be able to live their gifts. They could be supported, but they wouldn't have to have such a big weight on their shoulders to, the question I always ask, and I don't want to go on a tangent here, but, with artists that have struggled with certain things also, let's say even drinking or drugs or whatever, the question is to really ask ourselves, would we want them to be different? Would we really allow them to heal and be well and to wear a cotton shirt and a pair of jeans and get out of the costumes? Would we, or do we need them as an aspect of our own broken lives, right? And it's a powerful question to allow. I feel that long ago, artists were allowed more to go through a process of development. If you look at the records I have of Roberta Flack or Ella, or every album had a certain context, and now it just seems like we have an idea of how performers have to be, and the explorations stop unless you are an independent artist or a smaller artist. That's our freedom and gift. But I know of great artists that were not allowed to produce the albums that their soul was longing for them to create, right? And it is a crazy thought, but are we really allowing the artists that we love to have that freedom to change?
Well, on a certain level, that's those type of freedoms are choices, and we're in a society where celebrities, this idea of celebrity is a powerful and sellable thing, more so today than ever in the history of sort of music and entertainment. So, and it's mildly overrated, this idea of celebrity. Because now, a celebrity can be anything and anyone. And I don't know. I think maybe we've lost this idea, like you said, this idea of development. This idea of maturing. The voice, like wine, fine wine, matures.
Yeah, development, or also, or exploration, right? That we as human beings have. We do change. We have different relationships. We learn. We grow. Are we able to allow an artist that full frequency of exploration and still follow their work and commit to their growing? And also, are we able to live our own, even as people that maybe are not doing it on a professional level, but to allow the emotional to touch ourselves emotionally with our own songwriting and with our own singing, without just plugging in the putting in a CD and expecting that to come out and give it to us, right? I think it's. These are great conversations, Mr. Watkiss. Let me end on this note here. You're committed to sharing your great skill in artistry in the community. So you are an educator, and you have the conviction that everyone has a voice and something to contribute. So in these evolutionary times, what is your vision for our world, and what steps can each and every one of us take to usher in that new world of peace and well-being and all that goodness that is available, that full frequency goodness that's out there?
We can only come at it via ourselves, really, and let that be the mirror reflection of what we want to emanate into the world. We can only, we can engage in the sort of the discussion and the sort of debates about what's going on, with Brexit in England, with Trump in America. We can talk about all that stuff, and we can voice our opinions. But ultimately, we can't change anything. We cannot. The only thing that you can actually change is just you know, and allow that to be the magnet and the you know, the sort of the coil that allows that reverberates forever and ever and ever, which it does, and let that be the thing that changes a situation or your situation. Yeah. Because
so one voice at a time.
Trump is going to happen anyway, you know, and Brexit may happen too. So what are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, that's true on one. We can only do what we can do, and yet it is amazing how one voice, and then to think of many voices coming together, whether it was, you know, Martin Luther King or John F. Kennedy or whoever it was, or how one voice or artist have really touched many, many people, right? So when we raise our voice, it is amazing sometimes the rippling effect that it can have.
Exactly.
The power
this is the power that we have, and
right.
We must use that. You know, we must be bold and brave. And make
That's
that
it. We must be bold and brave and make that sound. Thank you, Cleveland Watkiss, for being with me today in studio at Voice Rising. Check out Cleveland Watkiss's work on the internet, and you will find him at his homepage, and it's all groovy. Thank you, Cleveland, for being with me today.
Thank you, Cara. Brilliant.